So as many of you know, I have an addiction problem. Pretty serious one, but it's not the usual stuff. For me, my addiction is to buying questionable vehicles on the internet and then trying to drive them home. So when I found myself needing to go to San Francisco for a Tech Week event, naturally, the first thing I did was get online and start shopping for the weirdest, goofiest, funnest looking vehicle I could find. And that's when I spotted this 47 Mercury 8. Now, if you have an eye for the oddball like I do, you'll notice something here seems not quite correct about this car, but oh so right all at the same time. Let me give you a hint. It's this part down here. That ain't supposed to be there. Now, if you're also a fellow connoisseur of law enforcement stops, you'll also be very familiar with these rims and hubcaps here. That's when I started to catch on to the big secret that this car is hiding under its 1947 sheet metal here. And we're going to get to all that, but spoiler alert, this car has an incredible backstory and it has seen some shit in its day. You see, a 1947 Mercury 8 should have a 239 cubic inch flathead V8. This one's had just a little bit of work done to it. Does that look like a 1947 flathead V8 to you? Because to me, this looks a lot more like a 2008 Ford 4.6 liter V8. Flex fuel, by the way. And it fits in here incredibly well, leaving us plenty of room to see that modern steering rack down there. Just clue number 2 or 3. Can't remember where we are. But either way, if we get down here, nothing is looking very 1947-ish to me. I mean, to me it's starting to look like I almost bought a Crown Vic. And that's because what we actually have here is a 2008 Crown Vic Police Interceptor body swapped with a 1947 Mercury 8. Now, as someone who's no stranger to body swapped and heavily modified classic vehicles, I know that some can be done very well and some absolutely horribly. But regardless, I decided to buy a one-way ticket to my trip down to San Francisco, committed to buying this thing and driving it back no matter what condition I found it in. It's even got a trailer hitch and a 7-round plug. Not even 7 blades, 7 round. This thing's ready to pull semi-trailers. And this car has some incredible details in it that we're going to go over. One is that the spring is broke, so you have to use a stick here. But either way, that we're going to go over. And I'm also going to tell you how I bought this car with absolutely no money out of my own pocket. And also special plans we have for it once we get it home. Check this thing out. So you see in here, they got this whole brace here that they've made an actual spare tire mount for. It comes with the jack, the lug wrench, everything you need. Over there, it's got a whole junction block for all the wiring and electronics back here. You see all the wiring is labeled all the way through. Comes with some wax and some dash and glass cleaner if you're so inclined. And then also, down here, came with a brand new set of catalytic converters, even though it has a set on it, so I'm not quite sure why you threw these in. And there's a toolbox in here that we haven't quite gone through yet, so we need to check that out. I am telling you, it's the little details on this car that just are the cherry on the top. Now, full disclosure, I have looked this car over before today. We actually bought it yesterday and took it to a good friend of mine's shop there in San Leandro where we bought the thing. And we checked it all over. We definitely didn't do any burnouts. We definitely didn't do any donuts. Police helicopters definitely weren't involved in downtown Oakland in the middle of the night. It wasn't us. Keep going. This car's too old and slow. It wouldn't even do a burnout. He didn't want that smoke.
It'd have been bad news for him.
But unfortunately, the camera that I brought down with me on this trip, I normally film all these videos with, now lives at the bottom of the San Francisco Bay because things happen. So I had to go to Best Buy, had to buy a new one, and here we are starting all over again. This is gonna look super sketchy if I'm in the back alley of like a shut down movie theater here with an old car that's not actually registered to me and a bunch of catalytic converters that I don't own. We got spare spark plugs and hose clamps. Hose clamps probably go with all the spare lines we have here. Blocks of wood. Oh, there's a fire extinguisher in the back too. That's good. Gloves in case we got to start working on stuff. But let's get to the toolbox. Oh, if there's a Sawzall in here next to these converters, it'd be really bad if a cop drove by. Oh, we got tow strap because you see by the hitch here, this is a recovery rig. Well, it could be, I guess. We've got ratchet straps Another new set of gloves. Extra large, they'll fit. Allen wrenches. Plastic bag full of hopefully not illegal stuff. Is that a mouse trap? No. What is this? This is, okay, tire plugs and fuses. We have multiple sizes. We do. That's a 20 is perfect because we blew a 20 last night in the midst of our shenanigans. Cool. So we got that stuff. Pliers. Some tubing, even with a little connector already inside of it, ready to go. Lots of electrical tape. That's a great and a bad sign. Plenty of screwdrivers here. Lots of screwdrivers. Pipe wrench that's been broke and welded back together. Actually, this is a whole different wrench than the one that was broke off here. So they broke two pipe wrenches, put them together. More Allen wrenches, wire tie, WD-40, we're going to keep that out and use it. Zip ties, the rustiest knife I've ever seen. We've got mini screwdrivers, big pliers, crescent wrenches, normal wrenches. Train going by. I don't know why this is in here, but it is. Cool. Now here's something me and my buddy Donald were talking about last night right after I bought it. He picked me up in San Francisco and gave me a ride over to pick it up. Is the fact that it's not like restored. It's not gloss perfect paint with absolutely dead perfect body line spacings and everything just right and the rivet holes filled. It's not like that, like a show car would be. That's because these cars didn't look like that when they left the factory. This is what they looked like. The paint wasn't $100,000 paint job perfect. The body lines weren't absolute to the millimeter lined up perfect. The rivet holes, this is where the rivets were because that's where they put it together. This is how, you know, minus a few little crinkles in the sheet metal here, this is how they left the factory back in 1947. So a true, correct restoration, this is how it should be done. I appreciate the work that goes into a show car, but if you really want to get back to like an original restoration car, this is what it should look like. You know, minus the whole modern police interceptor underneath it. Now the savvy connoisseurs of automobiles might know that a 1947 Mercury and a 2008 police interceptor are not the same wheelbase. You can see right here they cut and they stretched the chassis of the Crown Vic. I think he said about 4 inches. It should be from that point to that point is the stretch. And then they plated it on all 4 sides, welded a splice in there, everything. Not the prettiest, like, show pretty welds in the world, but this is going to hold up to all it needs to hold up to. And under the rest of it, we've got a complete Crown Vic. I mean, everything from the frame rails down is factory Crown Vic. Everything from the frame rails up? No, that's not true. Not everything from the frame rails up. There's some extra touches put in up there from the old Crown Vic. I got to show you those. Now, on body swapped and heavily modified classic cars, one of the big questions is how do you get parts for them? And on a lot of them, like on my old 1930 Dodge, that you just got to know, it gets difficult because the engine is out of one thing, the transmission's out of another, the transfer case out of a whole nother one, the rear axle's out of a Ford, the front axle's out of a Jeep, the chassis is the 1930 chassis, there's a whole bunch of custom-made engine mount stuff to make it all work. Like that car is figure it out as you go. This one here, here's the VIN number of the Crown Vic that is underneath of this. For any sort of driving, running, chassis, suspension, brake, anything that makes this thing move down the road parts-wise, you just order the factory part for the factory Crown Vic. Because this is the stock Crown Vic, other than the drive shaft is going to be 4 inches longer because the chassis was stretched. Literally everything else, you just order it for a 2008 Crown Vic and it's the right part. And as they're saying in here, they got a ton of room. He said when they put the engine in here, this car had such a huge engine bay that they decided to go ahead and move this whole radiator pack forward as far as they could, just to make room in here so you can get to the pulleys and the belts and all the stuff without having to dig anything out. You got plenty of room to work on it. Now there's one thing on this car I'm very confused about, and that is how to change the air filter. We haven't quite figured that problem out yet, because if you notice, there's no air box in here. The intake tube goes over here, goes behind this, and if we get down here, up there, like up in there, that is the air box of the car that the air filter is hidden inside of. And there is no way to get to that thing. Like it's down there. And I see no good way of getting it out of there. So it might just be that when it's time to change the air filter, you got to pull your windshield washer bottle off, pull this tube out of here, maybe take all this stuff off over here, and maybe it slides up out of there and you can take it off out here and then put it all back in place. I'm not exactly sure. We'll find out one day. Now, as I said, this was an actual police car, and it happened to be Oakland Police Department's car 1755. So they put OPD 1755 here on the side of the car, kind of as a tribute to what this thing used to be. And to kind of continue with that theme, they've got the dome light out of the police interceptor up here. And if you've ever been in the back of an old Crown Vic cop car, you know what these are right here. These are to restrain you inside the car. So they took the actual restraints out of the original Crown Vic back seat and put them back here into this car on each side. That's a nice little touch. They also got the Crown Vic third brake light mounted right here in the back window of the 47 Mercury. And every light and every little detail about this car works. Even this little license plate right here actually works and lights up the plate. You got all your light controls, Crown Vic dash, stereo, Crown Vic HVAC controls. There could definitely be a little trim piece put around here to clean that up. Now the heater does work, the fan works, the AC does not. The AC condenser is still up there on that radiator. The AC pump is still on the side of the engine. But the heater box coming back into the car, they didn't use the evaporator and all that out of the Crown Vic. They used that the heater box and heater core in here out of the 47 Mercury. So the AC isn't hooked up, but I don't think it'd be too hard to do. Now this here is a clock that was in the, you see there's the adjustment there. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, but if you turn on the headlights of the car, the clock lights come on. It's hard to see. I'll show you at night. Oh, glove box here. I didn't even look at what was in the glove box. What is this? We'll open that in a sec. We got some spare light bulbs. We got the actual cigarette lighter. This does work. I had it out because I was charging my phone. We've got some potpourri spray. I don't know why that's here. More electrical tape. It's giving me so much hope. And we got super glue. I feel like we have everything we need to road trip this thing the 550 miles we've got to drive it home. Okay, just some more fuses and relays, little light covers, couple springs for I don't know what, but I'm sure I will find out because there's a reason they are in here. I think on the interior, just doing some little trim pieces around these to clean it up and getting some little vent louvers to put right over these here would make this look like really finished on the inside. My daughter's actually been really interested in 3D printing lately, and I've been very seriously considering one to get her into doing that and learning that whole setup now, and those would be some cool projects to do as like a father-daughter little project thing on this car. So I'd have to look into that. Now here are a couple things you'll notice. You got the windshield wipers, and these right here are the actual Crown Vic window washers, and they are fully functional. Check this out. Is that not freaking cool? The detail on this car is insane. I also like the wing windows. They aren't like a pickup where you just flip the little thing and push it out. You undo the lock and then you crank it and it spins it around. And then you can lock it back down. And it's got wing windows in the back here too, but this one you flip the latch and you just push it out. So the AC might not be hooked up, but if you open up your back wing window, your front wing window, and if you really want to get the cooling effect in the proper places, you come on in here, reach under the dash, and give this lever a little push. And this front vent opens up to scoop the air right where you want it, even with the bug screen still attached. So to say I'm excited about car 1755 and the road trip we're about to take it on, it's just a little bit of an understatement. And fun fact about this car is while we were at my buddy Donald's shop last night, kind of going over some of the coolants and the oils, make sure it's all good, we looked up some of the history on this car. This thing's been through some stuff. Well, it is time to get going, head up north, see how this thing does on the trip, see what kind of adventures we can have along the way, And then when we get there, we're going to tell you how we're going to use this car to help out a whole lot of people. This thing just sounds like you're getting a speeding ticket. Look at all the dash lights go off just like they should. It's got the overdrive button on the dash. It works. We're ready to roll. All right, let's get to cruising. It's still early in the morning, so I'm going to turn the AC off. So I made it to my grandparents' house. And my grandpa's gonna sit. My grandpa's gonna sit in the front seat of a cop car for the first time.
I gotta shut my truck off.
Oh yeah, grandpa's out trucking. He just got back. This is a whole different experience up here. No, we don't.
Huh?
I don't think there's seatbelts.
Oh. You mean they didn't have them in cops' cars?
Is a cop gonna pull you over to get you a ticket in a cop car? There's a little super short day cab I need for getting around under 65 feet. And there's the sleeper truck I need for when I go on long trips. How much do you like this car?
Not enough to give that long hood up.
I like how you clarified the long hood, not the Freightliner. Whoa, 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 stop, 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 stop. Hold the brake. Now power brake it. No, give it. Now let off. You can't just roll out all casual. You gotta give it some.
I'm supposed to act my age.
Yeah, so hit the throttle.
I get told all the time, why don't you grow up?
If you're gonna act your age, you gotta put the speedometer on your age.
You gotta what?
You gotta put the speedometer on your age.
Oh. 85?
Are you looking for cops in the mirror? The only cop car here is this one. They drive nice, don't it? So now what do you think of it?
I'll still trade you a Freightliner for it.
We had a nice stop visit the grandparents there. We're in Hopland, California, my hometown. So we stopped here at Hopland Farms to get some pizza before we head north. But yeah, this is where I'm from, and this is pretty much the whole town right there all in one shot. So we're back on the road headed north, and now the easiest way to get home from here would be to just hop over to I-5, head straight up to 97, and that takes you right into Bend. All highway driving the whole way. Super simple and straightforward, but simple and straightforward sounds just a little bit boring to me. So instead, since we're kind of running through my old stomping grounds here, I figure why not run through a little more of it and head straight up 101 into the Redwoods and up through the northern coast of California, an area I absolutely love and haven't got to go through for quite a while. So what better way to get back through it than with a super cool old car? So that's what we're gonna do. So this here is the Willys bypass, and now that it's all over and done with and finished and all, I can tell a little bit of a funny story about the construction of this bypass. See, the highway used to go through the town of Willys, and with all the stoplights and the intersections and everything in town, it created just a massive traffic jam every day that took forever to get through town. And you know, we working in this area, hauling equipment around, had to go through it a lot. But we also were the ones hauling a lot of the equipment in and out of the bypass project. So once the bypass was here and like physically existed, you know, it was dirt roads on each end because none of this road was here originally, and the causeway here was in place, we started using it. I mean, it was still a big construction zone, but technically you could make it from one to the other, and since our trucks were always in and out hauling equipment for the project, no one questioned our trucks being on the project. So we'd come off the highway back there, get off in the construction zone, and we'd just cruise down the bypass all the way past town over there, out the other side, get back on the highway and keep on going. We come back the other direction, we do it again, and none of the construction crew questioned why we were always here, because it was pretty normal to see us always here. And we got through town nice and easy. So we got to start using the bypass like 6-8 months before anyone else did. It was pretty nice. Well, as you can see, we found our way into some rain. Luckily the wipers work great. All the delay functions of the wiper work good, so you can have it delayed, or you can kick it up, you can put it on high speed, back to delay. It all works perfectly. So a little bit squeaky, but I think some new blades would solve that. Welcome to Richardson Grove, the start of getting into the big redwood trees. And man, I miss trucking through this area. It is just so beautiful up here. I used to get to come through here all the time. There's just huge trees right on the side of the road. I mean, a little bit challenging with the wide loads, but it wasn't too bad. Absolutely incredible place. I think we're going to peel off the main road and hit the Avenue of the Giants and drive up that way. The rain's letting up. I really want to put the 360 camera on top of the car and drive through Avenue of the Giants, but that won't work so well if it's raining. So hopefully it stops just in time so we can pull that off. So I made it to the town of Garberville to get some fuel, and Garberville is also the home of the Redwood Run, the big huge biker rally every summer. And when we lived back in Hopham, my wife and I would always ride our Harley up here during the Redwood Run event, check it all out and ride through all the redwoods. So now that we have a Harley again, maybe we need to come down for the Redwood Run next summer and kind of do that again, because that's a lot of fun. But for now, we just got this thing fueled up. We're gonna go hit the Avenue of the Giants, and it's looking like the weather might just work out in our favor to do a 360 video off the top of this thing. We have made it into the Avenue of the Giants. We've got the 360 camera on top of the car. Look at the steam rising off the log that's in the sun. Well, the mist and raindrops fall out of the canopy up there. Just incredible. And then this This is an old dozer track section. It's laying here from back when this was logged, because all of this has been logged. That's actually why these are cut. Getting it. You see, that's why these are cut. This section has already been logged. This is what it's looking like after logging. So let's do some checking out here. These redwood groves, awesome places. Down into the creek bed here, giant tree. They said, like, this is me. It's huge. It'll fall. And then over here you see it looks like they've been, all of these flags should be a little tree or something they planted in there to try to do some erosion control along the bank here. Look at this, the water's disappearing into the ground. So you got all the water flow coming in right here. You can see how much is flowing. Just crystal clear. Comes down here, goes over this log, and then gone. It all goes just down into the ground right here and through the rock. I bet it pops out down there again. Just look at all that mist and water coming down. So cool. Tell me this is not just incredible. Look at these giants just leaning out over the creek bed here. And then the roots of this tree family right here. So redwood trees grow in a family of trees where these three, well, there's a small one there, this big one. If we go to the other side, we should be able to see there's the other big one behind it. That's all a family of trees that are all growing off the same root system underneath. So it's one giant root ball under that all of these different trees are growing out of. Pretty cool how they work. So like, I bet those two big ones and that small one, and another little small one there, that's all one family. Look at this thing. From the bank over there, all the way down there into the road. I wonder how slippery this is. Ooh, this is slick. This is probably a bad idea. If you get on those. This is, look, you can see how like slimy it looks. But that's where I need to go. So I gotta hop back down and walk all the way through the creek under the highway and back up over there. So we just walk super sure-footed and don't slip. This whole thing sloped down. It might not look like it, but it is. And just watch out for like these on top of it, because they're like ice under your feet. That's the old highway, which is now the Avenue of the Giants. Can't remember the name of the actual road. Then up the creek bed there. See how spongy that is? That'd dump you off in a hurry. When it's shiny, you know it's like ice. We made it. A little slick, but we made it. Man, I love the redwoods. My favorite place in the world. Look at this monster. This, you need some perspective on this. Come over here. I'm gonna set you down so you can see just how big this thing is. It's huge. Absolutely huge. It's so freaking cool. And if you look, it's got a whole crevice that goes way in there, and then who knows how high that goes up inside of the tree. Could go way up there, you don't know. Very cool. Here's a fallen down tree where it like burned. So this tree was going that way, so the rest of it is up there somewhere. Oh, I see part of it. So it must have fell down from that side. Looks like it got struck by lightning, started to burn away, and fell down this side, which would put it across the road to right there. And they came and chopped this part off. Thing is big. And this here's another one that got struck by lightning. Check this thing out. Look at that's a full healthy tree up top, but down here in the bottom of it, it's all burned away. Look at it, burned away and hollow. It's just the back outside of the tree is still what's holding it. But if we come back over here and get a better angle at it, it's a giant healthy redwood tree up top. These things are so resilient. It's unbelievable what they can live through and stay standing. Yeah, here's the root ball for this one that went across the road there. I'll try to get to the other side of it. Yep, there's the root ball, and then there's the tree. And look, it's hollow on the inside. It's a tunnel that goes all the way down through that thing. Well, I don't know how all the way, but it is a tunnel down in there. Very cool. Look at the size of this tree compared to those cars. That shows you how big that one is. What a monster. And again, can you tell me a cooler way to travel through a place like this than an old classic car, even if not all of it is so old and so classic? I think the only thing that would make this better is if my family was here with me. I could do this with the girls too, but with school and businesses to run and work and jobs, it just wasn't on the cards for this one. But we shall continue. I mean, how can we not go through the drive-through tree? Check this out. I think I'll fit. This is so cool. Oh, that is so close. I gotta take a picture. Check that out. Right through the tree. That's so freaking cool. Check this out, there's a bunch of elk in the middle of the road. Eating berries over there. What's up? How you doing? It's a cool car, huh? I think they like my car. Oh, wow, there's a whole bunch over there too. Welcome to the town of Oric, folks. That's how it goes around here. That guy liked my car too. Okay, we just pulled off the highway. I wanted to stop here and show you guys something real quick. Check out the size of nuts on that bull. Alright, that was it. We're gonna get back on the highway now. Now how's that for a view? More elk in the road. What's that? Hey, that one's got a collar. That means it's a nice one and you can pet it. I'm fairly certain that's what that means. Just check out this river. Just this rock canyon all the way through here along the road. I highly doubt this camera is going to show how clear that water is, but in person it is crystal clear. Alright, back on the road. Welcome to Oregon. We're back across the state line. Wait till you see this. Oh, I had to turn around. This is too good. Way too good. I mean, this is a Plymouth. A little different, but me and my buddy Donald were talking. I need to find one of these to put on top of this car and then just paint like this part of the door white. And then maybe put the 1755 a little bigger across the back. Is that not cool? I really like that siren too. Need the light here would be good. I have one of these on my red Western Star. O'Brien Police. I ran inside and asked the guy. He said this is either a 50 or a 53. He can't remember, but either way, it is get home time. We're gonna head across the valley right now and then up over the mountain where there is some snow on the sides of the road. Depending on how it goes today, there might get some on the road. And then down the bottom and up to Bend, and I can finally tell you what the plan is for this car, why I'm not keeping it, and how it could be yours. Well, not only did we get into snow on the side of the road, we got into snow falling on the windshield of the road. First snow of the season. Hopefully we get a good snow year. We need it. This is one very long, very straight section of road through the woods. All the way down to the highway. And then we turn north and head home. Alright, we're going to pull a 0 to 60 out of here. I'm going to flat foot it off the line. I'll call out 60. You guys time it. Ready? 60. Well, we made it home, and I thought it only appropriate to line up all of my completely stock and unmodified classic vehicles next to each other. These two are body swaps. This one is not. That's something a lot of people say when I call this a 95-year-old car. Like, oh, it's just an old body on a new car. No, actually, this one here is the 95-year-old chassis on the 95-year-old suspension with the 95-year-old body, just with some new guts put in it. But this is the actual 95-year-old car. This is a Jeep YJ chassis and everything from there, and then this here, 2008 Crown Vic. But this here is actually a 95-year-old car. But that's not what's important right now. What you really want to know is what my plans are for this car. And the answer is simple. I'm gonna sell it. If you're wondering why, well, again, the answer is simple. To make money. But what am I going to do with that money? Well, that's not so simple, because this is where we're doing things a little different. You see, I have a knack for finding severely undervalued vehicles on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, auction sites, and other far reaches of the internet, and then buying them. And a lot of times those are what end up being the vehicles I run in my company. But with vehicles and heavy equipment, especially a lot with heavy equipment, I'll buy them at a way underpriced value. I'll do any little fixing up that needs to be done to them, and I'll sell them for a profit. I've been doing that for well over a decade in this business, and it's where I've probably made most of my money in this business. So why not use those same talents to help others in a fun and unique kind of way? So as many of you know, like most other YouTubers, I have a Patreon. Most YouTubers, I don't use the Patreon account to support my YouTube channel. I feel that I have the YouTube revenue, the sponsor income we get, other businesses that I have, that's my income. So I don't want or feel right about having my viewers directly giving me money. So what I do is I use everything that comes into Patreon to help others. And there's been some growing pains with how to figure out how to do that. I've done a lot of like helping direct individuals that were in serious need, and I liked doing that, but it also led to some issues with, I'll just say that desperate people will do desperate things, and I kind of inadvertently made myself known as someone who will directly help out people when they're up against a tough spot, and some people got desperate in regards to that. So we're going to be kind of changing around to where now we're going to be donating this money and using it to help people through legitimate nonprofit organizations, charities, things like where we did with the circus in town recently, where we bought, you know, a few hundred tickets to the circus, and actually that went through a nonprofit organization to their clients that they help out. So that puts a kind of a layer of separation there that protects, hopefully, and mitigates those issues we had earlier with being directly helping people in need. So anyways, I thought, how can I use my talents to help support this and multiply that to what we can do even bigger? Now, one thing I really have a knack for, like I said, is finding undervalued vehicles online and auctions and all that, and buying them and fixing them up and making them good, usable vehicles. And some of them don't even need that. Some are just ready to go as is and a great deal. I was going to point at that, but that one did blow the motor shortly after. That's definitely not the case. This one, though, on the other hand, we just drove it. I'm going to have to do exact math. I'll put it right here because I did a roundabout trip, so I have to look at the mileage. But it's well over 550 miles. We just drove this thing home from the Bay Area, up here to Central Oregon, through the redwoods, through the mountains, in the rain, a little bit of snow, zero issues at all. This thing ran so good, so clean. Temperature gauge stayed perfect. Didn't use a drop of oil, not a drip of anything on the ground underneath it. Handled great. This thing was just solid from the beginning. So I think all this needs is, I'm going to throw some new tires on it, and it's ready to go. It needs nothing else. It was done so well. All the little details are so perfect in it. Some new tires. We might have to, you know, these tires have an issue. They're filled with smoke and it's stuck in there. So we need to help that smoke get out before we put some new tires on. I think it'd just be better for everyone. So we're gonna throw some new tires on this, and this is for sale. And when I saw what this was listed for down in the Bay Area, I looked at it and went, if that thing's in good shape and the build was done correctly, it's worth so much more. And if it's not, I can finish it off correctly and make it worth so much more. Kind of like with this one. Granted, the build is done incredibly, but mechanically, it had some issues. An engine, we went through rear end, transfer. We did a whole bunch of stuff to this one here to kind of bring it up to a full 100%. This one turns out didn't even need it. So after driving this home, after spending a few days with it and kind of exploring around and going through all different conditions with it, I think this is a $20,000 car right here. So I am listing it for sale for $20,000. And it'll be listed online on Facebook Marketplace. I'll put a link to that listing in the description of this video. And then when we sell it, whatever we end up selling it for, if it ends up the full 20 or someone negotiates it down a little bit, or however that works, 100% of that money is going to get donated to a charity, a nonprofit, a good cause that the Patreon members are choosing. So how we're doing this is the Patreon members are giving suggestions right now of the charities and nonprofits. Could be here, could be in their area where they live, could be around the world, whatever. They're giving me suggestions. We're going to take the top 5, top 10 and put them up as a poll. And then the Patreon community is going to vote for which one we donate to, so that they're in control of where their money is going and who it's going to help out. And I think that's a nice, fair, and good way of doing it, in a fun way that could hopefully get some more people interested, involved in it, more people to join up over there, which means more we can donate and do for other people. So that is the goal kind of with this thing. Like I said, this car is amazing. I am so happy with it. It is for sale. Link will be down below. We're going to use that money to help some people. Hopefully we'll be able to do this again and again and again, and just kind of spread this around as much as we can, help out as many people as we can, and have some fun at the same time. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this trip as much as I did, and we'll see you next time.